As Bertrand Russell once said, the only thing that will redeem mankind is cooperation. I think we can all appreciate the relevance of that now. Was that on a beer, Matt? Yeah, it was Guinness Extra Cold. I won't say anything. Thanks. Welcome to Should You Watch This with the Popcorn Priest, a weekly podcast where movie enthusiasts, current and ex-movie theater projectionists, new and old friends take the time to talk about a movie that we just watched and answer that very question, should or shouldn't you watch this? Ever felt like you were surrounded by zombies? In a time of crisis, a hero must rise from his sofa. Shaun of the Dead is next.
Do you ever think that modern life is not for you? Do you do the same dead-end job every day? Is your love life dying on its feet?
To a wonderful mum.
Have you ever felt that you're turning into a zombie? Maybe you're not alone.
It's a great trailer, dude.
It really is.
Although no one official is prepared to comment, religious groups are calling it Judgment Day.
It is vital that you stay in your homes. Avoid all physical contact with the assailants.
Oh, he's got
So, what's the plan?
Bash him in the head, that seems to work out.
Why have we got to go Lizzie? Because I love her.
All right, okay.
Do something!
Hold it there.
I'm coming!
Joining me today is first-time guest and longtime friend and fan of the show, Marc, the Rain Man of Cars, Alley. Welcome. Glad to have you on the show.
Glad to be here.
I am not really a horror guy, but I'm really excited to review Shaun of the Dead.
It's a great selection. I mean, I'm not really a horror fan either, but I just love Simon Pegg and just his take on this traditional kind of trope, traditional genre is so different and just fun. It's just a fun his take on it.
Yeah, we were talking before we get into the details of the show. It was way ahead of his time, this kind of movie. Seemed like in 2004.
Oh, yeah.
All right, the description for this one. The uneventful, aimless lives of a London electronic salesman and his layabout roommate are disrupted by the zombie apocalypse. That's a pretty good description.
Yeah, no.
Usually they're terrible. That's why I include them. But sometimes it's like, okay, that's a really good, succinct description. I wonder, like, there's a guy somewhere, like, has to sit there and think, okay, how can I write a one-sentence description of the movie? So
it's kind of a terrible job, really.
Yeah, it's a horrible job. Written and directed by Edgar Wright. Also written by Simon Pegg. He was a writer on the show, on the film. Top billed stars Simon Pegg, Nick Frost, Kate Ashfield, Bill Nighy, and Martin Freeman, among others. You had mentioned that quite a few British actors that are highly recognizable.
Well,
I don't know all their names, but
I watch a lot of British film and TV, and it's kind of a royalty list of British TV and film personalities like Lucy Davis, like you said, Nick Frost, even Dylan Moran. You see, appears in Western films now. Penelope Wilton, longtime big time star in Britain. So yeah, there's I don't even know how to say his last name, but Peter Serafinowicz, and
I'm sure that's exactly right.
The roommate, I think it's Rafe Spall. Just there's tons of
Pete. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Pete is Rafinowitz. Yeah, so just lots of great actors in there and very recognizable in the UK.
A crisp 1 hour and 39 minutes, which is very awesome.
Good length.
Rated R. Genre on Rotten Tomatoes says comedy/horror. And IMDb also says comedy/horror. I agree with both of them this time. Usually I disagree vehemently with both of them, but that's good. Comedy/horror. Rating from IMDb is 7.9 out of 10, which is very high from 33,000 reviews. Rotten Tomatoes gives it a 92% from 218 critic ratings and 93% from 250,000 audience ratings.
92% on Rotten Tomatoes? I didn't realize it was that high.
Yeah.
No, it deserves. It's deserving.
Very good. Yeah, I'm glad you were the one that kind of picked this. You're like,
yeah.
We were talking about it, and I was like, I know we just barely, or I did, reviewed a horror movie recently, 2 weeks ago, and I was like, let's do it again.
Yeah.
This is different than that Korean film that we reviewed. What a crazy movie that was. Where to watch this at the time of the recording? This recording, you can stream this on Hulu in the United States. Not sure outside of the U.S., but right now Hulu has it.
I think Amazon Prime had it for pretty recently.
Probably for the Halloween season.
Yeah, I think it was on Amazon Prime.
Okay.
For free for a little while.
Or you can rent and purchase this from your preferred purveyor of digital media. If you choose the highest tier of our Patreon account, you'll have access to the Popcorn Priest permanent collection. Go to patreon.com/Popcorn Priest for details. All right, Mark, you're new to this, but you have listened to the show, which I appreciate. I'm giving you the prayer signal and bowing to you, but appreciate the listens. We're going to get into Popcorn Reviews the Reviews. All right, normally my guess, I usually do 3 1 out of 10s and 3 10 out of 10s. Lately, we've been doing the whiplash where we do 1 10 1 10. Do you want to continue with that?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. All right. Here's the first 1 out of 10. And we'll end on a high note with the 10 out of 10.
Okay.
Why is this movie getting good reviews? Says A.K. Gill. Ek Gill. I'm completely nonplussed. What does that even mean? Nonplussed. What is that word?
I think nonplussed just means unmoved or just uninterested.
You're way smarter than me, for sure.
No, I don't.
I am completely nonplussed why this torture of a movie seems to be everyone's favorite. On top of that, its inclusion in the top 250 movies is bloody outrageous. Not once did I laugh or even crack a smile in this movie. What? On the other hand, I was getting irate by the second watching of all of them on a nonsensical plot. Simon Pegg was an unexpected, nasty surprise. What does that even mean? A nasty surprise.
What?
In this movie, as I did not expect that type of dull performance from the brilliant actor. And the way they handle the situation with his mom is absolutely rubbish. Poor. Very poor. Go for Zombieland, which should take this one's place in the top 250 movies. Oh, and by the way, so should Titanic. 1 out of 10 stars. Like, oh my gosh, this guy, what is he watching?
I don't know. I actually like this. I like Zombieland a lot, but I do too. I like this movie maybe a little better.
Yeah, Zombieland's, I would say,
it's a little uneven at parts, but it's great. It's just got some great cameos.
Yeah, Zombieland is great. The second one is not great.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
You could probably just watch Zombieland again and not watch the second one, and you'd be fine. Yeah, I don't understand how you could not crack a smile in this. It's so funny, man. I don't know. First 10 out of 10. The original Zom rom-com says Sleeping Dragon. The first of the Cornetto trilogy. Did you know that this is part of a Cornetto trilogy?
No, I had no idea.
We'll get into that a little bit later.
Okay.
See Shaun, his mom, and a small bunch of friends battling a horde of flesh-eating zombies. I'm staggered to see on IMDb rating of 7 out of 10, which is crazy. He's saying that it should be higher, and anything above 8 is like really hard to get on IMDb.
Right.
Just because of the mass of numbers. You're a number guy. Like, there's just so many that getting to anything above an 8.5 is like, you can't. It's just, you can't.
Well, yeah, because the mean, there's just so many people reviewing it. and they're giving him a 1.
Yeah.
They're giving it a 1.
Yeah.
You have enough of those 1s, and
Yeah.
that's why sometimes I look at Prime Video or something reviews and I'm like, this is meaningless. I have to go to Rotten Tomatoes because it does, everything's a 7 or a 6.9. It's like,
I mean, that's part of the reason why I do what I do, because IMDb's ratings kind of terrible. Rotten Tomatoes reviews are, I mean, you can just get a glimpse, but it's really kind of not that great. And then reading normal people reviews are also hilarious to me. So it's like, anyway. So he's saying he's surprised that it's a 7.9 and not higher. He says, what on earth have some people seen that I haven't? It's an out and out classic. Shaun of the Dead is an absolute riot. A mix of horror and comedy with a very British flavor, spelled like the British. It's one of those films that simply doesn't get tired. It doesn't matter how many times you watch it. It's just so appealing. Can't decide what the best bit is. There are so many contenders. But the final encounter in the pub and the zombie girl in the garden, there are a horde of moments that I can't be chosen. Zombie comedies have been tried before and have been tried since, but none even come close to this. Peg and Frost nailed it. 10 out of 10 stars. I think that guy just was like wanting it to be so like a 10 out of 10 on IMDb, but it's funny.
Not going to happen with critics.
All right, here's our next 1 out of 10. One of the worst and most excruciatingly boring movies I have ever had the misfortune of sitting through, says gay FBI gent smecker.
What?
Gay FBI gent smacker. Mecker.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, you got all kinds reviewing on IMDb. This truly is one of the worst and most excruciatingly boring movies I've ever had the misfortune of sitting through. If this is the best of British, in quotes, then we are in an even worse state than I thought. I can't believe this is being billed as refreshing and groundbreaking comedy. It's about as funny as a poke in the eye with a sharp stick. It follows the trend of so many other Brit comedies by going with crass toilet humor, jokes about farting. My, how original. What a wheeze. I don't think it was funny 20 years ago, but it ain't bloody funny now, and I can just picture the hordes of greasy, wacky students rolling in the alleys all over the country. The rest of you should know better. 1 out of 10 stars. Man, this guy reviewed it 20 years after. This is a fresh review.
Really?
So he's like, he hates it so much.
I'm surprised because I think this movie has a lot of just wide appeal.
Yeah, and listen, I say this all the time, more and more frequently on this show. If you see, I mean, the title alone, you don't even have to watch the trailer.
So clever.
Shaun of the Dead. Like, you are getting a zombie movie. Like, if you don't like zombie movies, why are you going in there? Let's like, if you love sushi, or you don't like sushi, and you keep going to a sushi restaurant, like you're gonna keep getting the stuff you don't like. It's like insane to me.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be some gore, there's going to be some crassness.
Yeah,
but the fact that it's even, from the trailer, it's a comedy.
Yes.
Slash horror.
Yes.
And it does have some serious horror in it.
Yeah, it does. I mean, that's part of the genre, so they add it in there.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right, second 10 out of 10. Shaun of the Dead is a slice of fried gold, says Cricket Bat. So that's a reference to the movie.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. What does that even mean? Is that I'm not British. I'm sorry. I know we have listeners.
Cricket is so huge in that part of the world.
But what's fried gold mean? Do you know?
Fried gold.
He says that.
I don't know what he's talking about.
Okay, well,
I've never heard that expression.
You guys need to message me and let me know what fried gold means, because I'd love to know. Anyway, Shaun of the Dead is one of my all-time favorite films. This horror comedy manages to parody the zombie genre while still standing solidly within it. The story is creative, the humor is quick and clever, the characters are memorable, it's endlessly quotable. It's true. And it also manages to generate some real fear and genuine emotion. Edgar Wright and Simon Pegg created a special kind of magic with Shaun of the Dead. Simply put, this movie is a slice of fried gold. 10 out of 10. He says it again.
Fried gold.
Not really sure what that means, but it's provocative.
Is it a French fry? Is it, fried tater tots?
Yeah, maybe it's a food item.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure you can't fry up gold.
Well,
you can melt it.
I used to live in Texas, and they'll fry just about anything there. Fried Oreos, fried bubblegum.
That sounds great.
Yeah, so
I've had fried Oreos.
It's possible.
They're the best.
Yeah, I mean, you can fried Twinkies.
Oh, man. Dude, I'm so hungry right now.
Right.
Last 1 out of 10. Disgusting movie. Says Praven Alien Star. Praven Alien Star. Well, people who would have rated this movie must be either in a very good mood or very high on drugs. The first 10 to 15 minutes was good, sensible comedy. But then the movie went down exponentially to total disgusting and non-humorous stupidity. Some of the stupid scene really bored and angered me. That doesn't even make sense. Some of the stupid scene really bored and angered me. So much that I would have wished the zombies would have bashed the brains of the characters for lame acting and immense lack of intelligence. Also, there's a lot of bloodshed and gore, which is not funny for zombie-related movies. Better to watch other comedy movies from the same lead actors, like Hot Fuzz, if you want to really know the difference between comedy and stupidity. 1 out of 10 stars. I picked this one because it's so hilarious that they're comparing it to another Edgar Wright movie.
With Simon Pegg as the lead.
With Simon Pegg. And it's like, also, he or she, also there's a lot of bloodshed and gore. We already said, like, it's a zombie movie, dude. Like, what are you going to do? I mean, how can you like Hot Fuzz and not Shaun of the Dead? I don't get it. Yeah.
Because I actually think as good as Hot Fuzz is, there's moments where it can feel kind of long or
it's a little
sometimes a little repetitive. Like Shaun of the Dead, I think is even more widely appealing.
Yeah, and like that's what it is. Like it's a genre film that mashes up and tries to poke fun at all the previous versions of these types of movies.
Oh yeah.
All right, last 10 out of 10. There is nothing more to say here but this, and whatever is needed to reach the character limit. When they're writing reviews in IMDb, they have to have a certain character limit in order to submit it. So some people just keep typing gibberish to
really,
so they because they can't frame sentences. Says Queenie Goldback. I watched this at my uni's Halloween party. What does that mean?
University.
Ah, okay.
At the university party.
I watched this at my uni's Halloween party, and I loved it. We laughed our way through it, even when errors came up during the streaming. I ate so many chips and drank way too much Coke. I also ate way too much popcorn. It's a hilarious movie and a great way to end the night. I love British comedy, which made me love it. It made me roar with laughter. 10 out of 10 stars. I love that he's like describing his meal, like what he's eating during the film.
That was just as fun as the movie.
I ate so much chips and drank way too much Coke. I guess a zombie movie will do that.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know about eating like wings or like maybe, other kind of meat products, but hey. All right. That brings us to should or shouldn't you watch this? 5 reasons why you should watch Shaun of the Dead. And then after I'm done, if you have any extras, Mark, please add to it.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Number 1. And let me know if I'm out of line on any of these. Okay. Number 1. If you like zombie movies at all, this is for you.
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
Number 2. If you like zombie movies with comedy in them, this is for you.
Yes. And there's not a lot of them that work.
Not a lot of them that work. No. And we've already mentioned that Zombieland 2 didn't work.
There's another one I like, Warm Bodies. I don't know if you've seen that one. I like that one a lot. And it's more of a love story.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like that one too. But I mean, it's just, I don't know if it's okay for me to talk about this and take too
No.
much time, but I just like Simon Pegg's take because he does come at it from a British perspective. But what's different is his love of American films, including buddy cops, including zombie films. He loves those
Genre.
movies.
Yeah, he loves those
So it's an American style film, really, but with a British context, with a British take. And I think that's why he's just so interesting. And I mean, he's a solid writer.
Yeah. Dude, the writing in this is immaculate. Like, I read about this, and you would think with all these different British comedians in this one ensemble cast that you'd have just tons of like improvising, and there wasn't. It was like they stuck to the script, and you can tell with all the callbacks and setting up a joke that like lands 3 or 4 times is so awesome. And it's people don't know how to do that.
It's seriously, this film is kind of a joke a minute.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really just one joke after another. And Pegg should get total credit for great writing.
Well, and Edgar Wright too. They both
Edgar Wright.
Yeah, both of them did a really great job. So there you go. And speaking of Edgar Wright, if you like Edgar Wright, this is also for you.
Yeah.
You know of his films, like at all, like you should watch this.
I seriously think the little flashes of like when he's brushing his teeth or getting ready for the day, and it's like, it's this intense flash where they're changing it,
with such mundane things.
Yeah, mundane things, going
So
the
great.
toilet flushing, the toothpaste coming out, the door slamming. It's funny.
Yeah, and the crush of the audio.
I've never seen another film that does that. So that's
really
it's
good.
interesting and fun.
Here's a crazy one. Number 4. If you've ever played Call of Duty Zombies, this is for you.
Oh, okay.
So there's like this mode on Call of Duty where
I've heard of it.
you just blast zombies, like waves and waves of them come.
My son actually, I think, plays it, and he was saying it's incredibly popular.
Yeah, it's fun. So if you
Okay, I want to try it now.
yeah, Call of Duty Zombies. Some of the newer stuff is a little too. They've kind of jumped the zombie shark. if I can.
Oh,
say
really?
that. Yeah, there's way too much like mechanics in the game now, whereas before it was just like dumb, like
Simple.
Let's shoot as many as
shooter.
you could kill, and
really?
rack up the zombie kills. Like that's all it's about. So anyway.
Oh, cool.
And last but not least, if you want a Halloween tradition movie, this is for you.
Oh,
I would
yeah.
say watch this every Halloween.
Oh, yeah. Great Halloween movie,
Just bear in mind, it's rated R. There's gore. There's swearing. There's profanity.
It's definitely not for young kids.
No. But like
Anybody that's,
can handle those things should watch this.
yeah. It's like a 14, 16-year-old plus type of film.
Any other reasons that I missed that you should watch Shaun of the Dead?
What I like about it too is it's just got these quintessentially British things in it.
Yeah.
It's got the Jaguar in there. I love that. He's always wanted to drive the Jaguar. Okay, look, one of the best things about this film is if you've ever worked a job 9 to 5 and you just feel like you're in the same, and it's just so funny. He goes into this convenience store every day to get a soda. He does the same thing, and he gets the same drink, even though he looks at another drink. He never gets that other one. He gets the same one.
He checks it out and he's
Yeah.
like, no, I'm just going to get this because I'm a creature of habit.
And then they do it brilliantly because the second time he goes in during the zombie apocalypse, he doesn't even notice the blood. He doesn't notice the blood on the drink cooler. He doesn't notice, the people wandering the streets, the hole in the car windshield.
No.
He
slips on blood, doesn't even
notice. And it's funny. I guess that's one thing that probably does frustrate people about this movie that they don't understand is you do at times feel in the movie, just do something else. Just, if I was in that situation, I would take this action. But that's actually what's fun about these types of films is it's almost like create your own adventure. When I was a kid, I'd read these books where you could choose a different path.
Yeah.
And that's what's kind of fun about these films is you are frustrated. You're like, come on, like, why did you throw this stupid guy that threw the chair through the window?
Yeah.
Oh, that was such a dumb action.
Yeah.
But it is a kind of a commentary on feeling like you're stuck in a dead-end job, going through the same motions every day. And
And we
and not being able to escape. It's like an inescapable fate in the way that like you're going to die in a zombie movie is kind of inescapable.
Yeah. Well, we said it's like ahead of its time. It's 2004. Yet like we've had this pandemic. We've been experiencing all that comes with that for the last 3 years. And we're all probably have worked from home way too much. And we're all like, it's just Groundhog Day, man. You just get up and do. It's like I feel this when I saw those sequences, and even the title sequences with the names come popping up, and they show all these people like pushing the carts and walking to work, and they just look like zombies, and it's just really funny.
Well, I work from home like you do. You get the worst cabin fever.
Oh my gosh, man!
And in this movie, it does. That's also one of the things about the movie is it does comment on human relationships are important. Mm-hmm. He cares about, he shows actually a lot of love and compassion for his friend who is a loser, probably almost too much compassion for his friend. But, relationships are important to him. He obviously has no clue what to do with his girlfriend. But, what happens is the impetus for him to take a change and take action, even though maybe it's kind of at times dumb action, but he does save them.
Yeah, he has his own arc. Like he has this a little bit of redemption, and he's trying to be better, and it's through a zombie apocalypse, which is great.
He is bumbling. I mean, that was in the description. And he is, they just do dumb stuff throughout, and some things don't work out the way they plan, but it's fun.
I mean, most of us, if this really happened, we would do the same crappy stuff and make mistakes. And
we all imagine that we'd make these logical, I do a lot of research in my job, and people make decisions very emotionally, including myself, which I hate about myself. But you make decisions on emotion, not logic, especially in those critical moments.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Did we get all the reasons why to watch Shaun of the Dead?
I think so. I mean, I'm a Simon Pegg fan, but even if you're not, which, he provides comic relief in other movies like the Mission Impossible series, which he's great in those. But I think without him in those kind of films, those films would be too serious. They'd be take themselves too seriously.
Yes.
And I think he's great at just taking a little bit, even though he does comedies, he has a serious take side to the film, and then also the comedic take, which it's hard to find.
I don't think people realize how important his role is in Mission Impossible. It really makes that more approachable and less like a James Bond movie where it's so heavy most of the time. And that's why I think Mission Impossible movies do so well. I mean, we reviewed them on the show. Like me and my buddy Dan, we reviewed every single one, and go listen to those, by the way. Shameless plug. They are really good, and we did a lot of cool research on those. So, all right, let's get into by the numbers.
For God's sake, just give me the damn number.
All right. I'm sorry I don't have a lot.
No,
but I've saved some for next week. Some good trivia. But what do you think the production budget was for this? I think this was Edgar Wright's first movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So it couldn't have been too high.
No. I mean, that's a spoiler, but
I would think, 10 million?
5 million was the budget.
Really?
Even in 2004, which is really cool that they could pull this type of movie off.
They did great with that kind of budget. I mean, I think the movie looks great.
Yes.
A lot of practical effects, very little CGI, if any.
Yeah, other than, I mean, we won't spoil it, but there's some zombie kills that have some CGI.
That one. That actually looked great.
Yeah, it looked really good. They did a great job. Even now.
Looking back 20 years.
20 years. Great. It's great, yeah. So $5 million budget. Guess how much it made? And it only was released in 675 theaters domestically in the U.S.
I wouldn't think it made that much. I just don't think people know about, especially then, knew about him. Simon Pegg wasn't the big star.
No, he wasn't. Now. 38.6 million.
Really?
When it debuted in the U.S., it had, I should have looked up its competition, but it was number 6 here when it came out. It was so popular.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Wow. So obviously it was a home run in terms of its production budget.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's why they made Hot Fuzz in 2007 right after it, because it made just a lot of money.
I wish he'd do more creative projects like this, but I'm sure he's just turning down work.
Yeah, he turned down Ant-Man and the Wasp. Or not Ant-Man and the Wasp, just Ant-Man, the first Ant-Man.
Oh, really?
He was supposed to direct that. And can you imagine an Edgar Wright Ant-Man? That would have been awesome. But he dropped out of it.
Oh, really?
I can't remember. I'm sure quintessential creative differences.
Yeah, he probably had conflict with, okay, this is going to be Disney owned and they're going to push me around and I'm not going to have a lot of creative license.
Yeah, that's all the numbers I have. So at this point, well, is there anything else we need to add before we close this week?
I would say, this is not a British movie. It really is. There are things that are little British jokes if you don't know about British society but this movie, not so much. I think Hot Fuzz is more that way. But
yes.
I think Shaun of the Dead is
much more approachable.
Much more approachable. It's just, you got to give it a chance.
It's so good.
It's rewatchable. I mean, this is probably my, second or third time at least watching it.
Oh, I probably watched it 10 times.
And I've enjoyed it every time. So
yeah, we'll get into it next week, but I can pop this on and just listen to the jokes. At this point, there will be spoilers up ahead next week. So if you want to watch and then come back and join us for our breakdown of Shaun of the Dead from 2004. I'm on the social medias. I dare you to message the great Popcorn Priest and let me know what fried gold means at Popcorn Priest. I love movies and would love it if you'd share the love. Share this with the movie lover in your life. Another way to support the show is by throwing a few shekels at the priest by visiting patreon.com/Popcorn Priest and see what extra perks you can enjoy. And by shekels, I mean money. Give me money. Send me money. I want to shout out Ike, one of our patrons. Thanks for donating. It goes a long way. I appreciate it. Lastly, the easiest way to support the show and the most free is like and subscribe and give us a 5-star review. Easier than throwing random household items at zombie heads. As always, thanks for listening, and thanks to my special guest, my first-time guest, Marc Alley. Appreciate you coming on the show.
My pleasure.
Join us next week for part 2 of Shaun of the Dead.